As the boxing world gears up for a highly anticipated showdown, the clash between social media sensation Jake Paul and boxing prodigy Gervonta "Tank" Davis promises to be a spectacle that transcends the sport. The matchup, set for November 14th at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida, will not only test their skills but also their mental fortitude as both fighters look to solidify their legacies in the ring. Jake Paul has emerged as a formidable force in the boxing world, leveraging his size, power, and unorthodox style. His knockout power is undeniable, with 6 of his 7 victories coming by way of KO.
Just haven't been.
Paul has shown significant improvement in his boxing fundamentals, particularly in his footwork and defensive maneuvers. His ability to switch stances and throw looping punches can create openings that more traditional fighters might not anticipate.
There's another one, and a right from Jake Paul.
Jake throwing back.
Despite his power, Paul's technical skills are still developing. His defense can be suspect, particularly against fighters with quick hands and precise combinations. Additionally, his reliance on his size can sometimes lead to overconfidence, leaving him vulnerable to counterattacks.
Deep breaths and ate a big uppercut.
Paul's last outing against Tommy Fury was a closely contested split decision loss that showcased both his boxing growth and areas for improvement. Analysts noted that while he struggled with Fury's speed and movement,
at this stage, long shot from Paul that found the head of Tommy Fury.
He displayed resilience and the ability to adapt throughout the fight. On the other hand, Gervonta Davis is known for his explosive power and exceptional speed. With a knockout rate of over 90%, he is one of the most feared punchers in the sport.
Over Middlesex, down goes Gil.
There's a right hand connecting.
Oh, big left, down goes Romero. Oh, vicious right hand. Pedraza goes down.
Davis possesses an impressive ring IQ, allowing him to gauge distance and timing effectively. His compact stature gives him a low center of gravity, making him adept at slipping punches and delivering powerful counters.
Tank is an artist.
He's a beast, he's a dog, he's a mother problem.
Jake paint by numbers.
A million here, a million there.
Jake's gonna brush him off like he nothing.
So who you got?
And I would see it. I would see it if he's nervous or anything like that inside the ring. If it do play a big part, I take advantage of it.
Final countdown. This is where it gets fun. This is where I come alive.
Feels good, feeling really good.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis is tuning his whole camp around Jake Paul's style, bringing in bigger, longer sparring partners and drilling timing to beat Paul's reach and size, not just his hype. The training camp shows Tank slowing the fight down to his rhythm, sharpening counters, walking down a heavier opponent, and proving he's not just the smaller man in this matchup, he's the problem. Calvin Ford steps in and reminds everyone this is not a joke matchup. Tank is not fighting a YouTuber for fun, he's fighting a big, dangerous guy. One thing I can say about Jake is that he is good at what he does. That's why he's where he's at. Calvin is giving respect here. He's saying Jake Paul is not some random social media guy anymore. Jake is disciplined, he's been active, and that power is real. And that's exactly why Tank's camp is locked in right now. Tank is studying range, timing, and how to walk down a much bigger man without getting caught clean. They're not treating this like a crossover show. They're treating it like survival and domination at the same time. You can feel the tension in the gym. Every round in sparring matters. Every detail matters because one mistake against a guy with size like Jake can change the whole story in one punch. Calvin is basically warning the world, Tank is skill, Tank is IQ, Tank is experience. But Jake is not harmless. That's the energy going into this camp. Now, Ford gets even more real about the danger and the unknowns in this fight. He stated, "I'll be honest, this is a risky fight. Anything can happen because I don't know all the logistics, the gloves, the weight class. It's a lot of stuff I don't know about yet, but my main thing is to keep him safe." This is where things get serious. Calvin isn't just game planning. He's worried about safety. A smaller fighter like Tank is stepping in with a naturally bigger guy, and the rules for this kind of fight still aren't fully clear. That means things like glove size, his weight and even how the ref controls the clinch actually matter. If the setup favors the bigger man even a little, Tank has to solve that in real time. Calvin is saying it straight. The danger here isn't can Tank box. We all know Tank can box. The danger is what happens when a dangerous puncher from a lighter division has to deal with a heavier puncher in a weird rule set. So for him, the mission is not just to win. The mission is to get Tank through this without letting that size gap turn into a nightmare. On the other side, Jake Paul is grinding hard in camp. No cameras, no jokes, just work. Jaleon Love is saying this is Jake's moment, and he's pushing like a man who refuses to let it slip.
He's focused, mentally, physically focused, physically ready. I think he's been anticipating this for a while, so this is it for him. You know what I mean? This is his moment to let people know I'm really here. I'm not playing. I'm not fucking around. I'll take anybody you put in front of me, and so yeah, this is his moment. Training has been great. We worked that motherfucker. We almost got fired. Pushing him. We didn't give a we like, yo.
And that changes the whole energy. Now, it's not just about Tank walking down the bigger man. It's about Jake trying to prove he's not just the bigger man. He's the better fighter that night. Love is basically telling us Jake is treating this like the fight that defines his career. He's in heavy sparring, he's living in the gym, and he's walking around with that mindset like, I'm built for this stage. You can feel the pressure building from both corners. Tank is coming in to show skill can beat size, and Jake is coming in to show size plus power can erase skill in one clean shot. This is where it stops looking like hype and starts looking like danger. Jake Paul is not talking like a guy who's hoping to win. He's talking like a guy who already decided how it ends and is now daring Tank to stop it. He stated, I'm knocking you the f out. It is written, it is destined by God, it is certain to happen. This is pure confidence, and it's not quiet confidence either. It's loud, it's personal, and it's meant to get in Tank's head. Jake is saying this isn't luck, this isn't a maybe, this is fate. When someone talks like that, they're not just hyping a fight, they're trying to control the story before the first bell even rings. And that's where the danger comes in, because when a fighter truly believes the ending is already decided, he's willing to walk through fire to make it real. That kind of mindset can create chaos in the ring. It turns the fight into a dare. Either Tank proves he's the smarter, sharper finisher, or Jake lands that one shot he keeps promising and shocks the whole sport. Now, it doesn't feel like big guy versus small guy. It feels like destiny versus pride. Meanwhile, Tank Davis answers that energy in his own way, calm, cold, and focused. He doesn't need to scream. He just reminds everyone this is what he's built for, and he's been built for it his whole life.
Those are sick as
And that's where you feel the difference between these two mindsets. For Tank, this isn't about proving he belongs under the lights. He's been under pressure since he was a kid. He's saying this camp is sharp, his timing is there, his mind is clear, and he's in the best headspace he's been in for a long time. That matters, because a locked-in Tank is not just fast and explosive. He's patient, he's thinking, and he's dangerous in every second of every round. It sounds less like a warning and more like a promise. He's not coming to survive the size, he's coming to pick Jake apart and finish him clean. You can feel it now. This is no longer YouTuber versus boxer. This is career versus legacy. Jake Paul doesn't back off. After all the talk, he brings it back to something real. Both him and Tank are locked in, both are dangerous, and both know this fight can end fast.
Bro, someone's gonna get hurt.
I'll get the out of my face. All right.
It's been an amazing camp. That kind of explains it. You know what I'm saying? It's calm, gets crazy, then it comes right back down.
It's somewhat mature, but not all the way, which makes it fun.
I'm setting up my Face ID. I got a new phone.
That's an important moment because it's not just trash talk anymore. It's respect mixed with warning. He's saying this is not going the distance if either man gets what he's looking for. Both of them have that one-shot shut-off switch, and both of them are training like they expect to use it. That means every second in this fight is risky. One mistake, one counter, and it's over. You can feel how serious the mood is now. This isn't clout. This is two finishers walking into the same ring knowing somebody's highlight is about to be somebody else's problem. This is the part where the hype turns into danger you can actually feel. Jake Paul then makes it personal. He reminds everyone who he used to be in the public eye, the YouTube kid, the Disney kid, and then basically says that version of him is gone.
He doesn't want anyone to congratulate him after his knockout, so he just literally gets a whole new phone.
Julio, I'm knocking you the fuck out. It is written, it is destined by God. It is certain to happen. I'm taking your family legacy. I'm embarrassing you in front of your dad. And I'm starting you off how you should have been finished off in the first place. Your easy work, you're gonna get the exposed, and then you're gonna go back to rehab.
This is the part where he tries to flip the whole narrative. He's telling the world he's not a gimmick walking into Tank. He's a completely rebuilt fighter built for real danger. He wants people to understand he's not just bigger, he's harder, meaner, and more physically developed than the guy people still think he is. And that message is aimed right at Tank's pride. Because if Jake is a different specimen, like he says, then he's saying Tank isn't just fighting a social media name. He's fighting a full power version of Jake Paul that nobody has seen yet. That's the story Jake is selling, not content creator versus boxer, but evolved monster versus knockout artist. Now it's not just about who wins, it's about who gets exposed. Then you get Michael Jai stepping in and talking about weight, and that's where it gets real. He's basically pointing out the quiet truth. Size on the night is not a small detail in this fight.
That's a better weight for him to me. Yeah, but he went down to 195. What would he be on fight day? I mean, I'm sure he'd be bigger than that.
And that's the scary part for Tank. Jake might come in lighter on paper, but everybody knows rehydration and walk-in weight can change everything. If Jake steps through those ropes way heavier, Tank isn't just fighting reach and power, he's fighting mass. That means every clinch, every shove, every shot on the inside could feel like a man from a different division leaning on him. And that's the risk. If the weight gap is big under fight lights, one clean shot from the bigger frame can flip the story in a second. But it also adds pressure on Jake, because if he shows up huge and still can't bully Tank, then the whole he's too small talk dies right there. So now the question becomes simple and dangerous. Is the size an advantage or an excuse waiting to happen? Michael Jai keeps going, and you can tell he's impressed by how crazy this matchup actually is. He talks about how big Jake really is, how heavy he normally walks around, and how rare it is for a guy of Tank's size to even say yes to this.
That's a better weight for him to me. Yeah, but he went down to 195. What would he be on fight day? I mean, I'm sure he'd be bigger than that.
And then he gives Tank his respect. He points out that Tank has been in there with guys way bigger than him in the gym, and Tank still breaks people with timing and that uppercut. He also gives Jake credit for even making this fight real, because most people at Jake's size would never agree to step in with a killer like Tank. So what he's really saying is, this is not a normal fight. It's not supposed to happen. It only works because Tank is that explosive and that fearless, and Jake is bold enough to put his name on the line. That's why the whole thing feels wild. You're looking at power versus danger, pride versus size. Two different worlds meeting in one ring. That's why people can't look away. Then he makes it clear who he would back. He talks about the little things Tank does, the small moves, the experience, the timing, and says that's what can beat size.
I would have to bet on Gervonta, because for all the little things, all that, and the fact that he's not old. Yeah. I think he makes up for the weight situation.
This is where the boxing part shows up. He's basically saying Tank is young, sharp, and still in his prime, not an old name cashing out. And that matters, because experience plus reflexes plus fresh legs is a nightmare for a bigger guy who isn't as fast. He's saying Tank can erase the weight problem with skill and decision making in the moment. Slip, crack angle out over and over. So even though Jake might come in heavier, longer, stronger on paper, Tank might still be the more dangerous man once the bell rings. That's the scary part. The smaller guy might actually be the hunter. He even admits it straight. If this were almost anybody else Tank's size, this fight would be called ridiculous. Too big a gap, too much risk, too unfair.
If it wasn't Gervonta Davis, it was somebody else in that weight category,
it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, it'd be ridiculous. But Gervonta, I mean, technique-wise and heart-wise, that makes it interesting. Like, again, kudos goes to Jake Paul because it kind of worked its way up, even though the guy is so much smaller.
But he says Tank is different. He talks about Tank's technique, Tank's heart, the way Tank fights like a sniper, not just a brawler. That's what makes this more than a circus. And he also gives Jake props for even getting the world to this point, because Jake somehow keeps finding matchups that people said could never happen, and then makes them real. So now the storyline becomes, can elite skill and attitude beat raw size and power? Because that's what this really is. One man is bringing weight, reach, and leverage. The other is bringing accuracy, killer instinct, and the will to walk through fire. That's why people are calling this historic, not just viral. By the end, he breaks it down like a real fight. He talks speed, timing, distance. He's looking at reach, height, natural walk around weight, all of it, and asking one question: can a guy that big actually catch Tank clean?
I don't know if a guy that size is going to be fast enough to catch Gervonta clean.
True.
Yeah.
But Gervonta might catch him.
Oh, he is going to catch him. He is. I don't, you know.
He'd have to get on the inside, though. I mean, think about the arm reach between Jake Paul versus Gervonta.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're really looking at someone that naturally weighs almost twice as much.
Not twice as much.
Close to it.
Twice as much as
130 would be 260. He weighed up to 230 at one point.
Mm.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but in the ring it wouldn't be that.
It'd be closer in the ring, but I'm saying.
How tall was left kid? What's his name? That Gervonta fought. Why am I drawing a blank? I hate to do that.
We're talking about
the kid he knocked out. The guy with the great left hook. Young guy. He fooled us when he fought Haney. He fought Devin
you're
Haney.
talking about Ryan Garcia?
Yeah. How tall is he?
Pretty tall.
Okay. Not quite as tall as
5'9".
Okay, not quite.
Jake Paul's like 6'2".
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. It's interesting.
6'1". 4-inch difference.
Okay.
4-inch difference. I mean, listen.
Yeah, hopefully he does what I was hoping that Dyson would do. Go to the body.
That's where the matchup gets crazy. Jake has the size, the reach, the frame of a guy in the 6-foot+ range. Tank has seen tall fighters before. Guys like Ryan Garcia with that long left hook. But this is different because Jake brings not just length, but mass behind every punch. So the game becomes simple and violent. Can Tank slip past that long jab, get low under those long arms, and go to the body until the big man starts to fold? Because if he gets inside, that's Tank's world. That's where the fight turns ugly fast. And if he can't get inside, then Jake can keep it long and heavy and make Tank work for every inch. This isn't just speed versus power. It's range versus explosion. It's patience versus pressure. It's who lands first without getting caught. That's why everyone's nervous, because either man can end it. Jake Paul isn't just calling for a knockout anymore. Now he's talking legacy. He's saying when he beats Gervonta Tank Davis, the whole boxing world will finally have to admit he's not a gimmick. He's a real problem. He stated, "Once I outbox and beat Gervonta Davis, you boxing fans will say I am an insane boxer and am really doing something in boxing." This is Jake trying to flip the script on everybody who still calls him a YouTuber. He's not just promising to win, he's promising to outbox Tank, which is pure disrespect because Tank is known for skill, timing, and finishing ability. He's basically saying, when I do this, you'll have no choice but to respect me. That's not just hype, that's a direct shot at every fan, every analyst, every fighter who said he didn't belong in real boxing. And if he pulls it off, he knows what happens next. The conversation changes from, why is Jake even in there with Tank, to who can stop Jake Paul now? And that's exactly the reaction he wants. He wants chaos, he wants hate, he wants shock, because that's how he turns this fight from a stunt into a moment. So now it's not only Tank's legacy on the line, Jake is putting his whole identity on it right here, in front of everybody. That's why this matchup feels bigger than size and weight. It's about who gets to control the story after the bell. At this point, you can feel it. This is not a normal fight. It's pride, power, ego, legacy, money, and reputation all crashing in one ring. Tank Davis is walking in saying, "I've done this since I was a kid. I'm locked in. I'm sharper than ever." Jake Paul is walking in saying, "This is my moment. I'm bigger. I'm stronger. I'm taking your respect." Both teams think they're the ones writing history. And the crazy part, they both might be right in different ways. One man has the purest timing in the game. The other has the size and the punch to flip the whole sport in one night. This is not just a fight. This is a test of what matters more, skill or force. Now, what do you think? Who do you believe when they talk? Do you think Tank's experience and shot placement beats size, reach, and weight on fight night? Or do you think Jake's power and physical advantage are just too much, no matter how good Tank is? Do you see this ending in a knockout, or do you think it becomes a shock chess match that nobody expects? And be honest, if Jake actually wins, are you giving him full respect after this, or are you still calling him the YouTube guy? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for more videos like this, breakdowns, behind the scenes energy, and full fight talk all the way up to the bell.